Hello, everyone, and welcome to another revisit. This came out on Switch, and I like this game, so I figured I'd do it again. But this time, I'm actually playing it. This time, huzzah! It's Touhouvania.
Well, refer to. Wait, what do you mean by actually play it?
I remember we had a guest last time we did this. So Koumajou Remilia, Scarlet Symphony.
Right. You know, because this was so long ago when we did the Touhouvania game on BrainScratch that I completely forgot that someone else recorded it for us.
Yeah, so did I.
You could be honest with us, Ryan. Was it a sock puppet account?
Also, like, holy shit, like, it's been how many years and I still don't know what the fuck Toho even is.
Hey, same. Let the high five.
It's a bullet hell. It's a bullet hell series.
Well, that
that's spun off it. Go on.
That much I know. I just don't get the, like, okay, it's a bullet hell. I get that. Why is the bullet hell about random ass flying anime girls? More importantly, if you're going to make a series about random ass flying anime girls, why would you make it a bullet hell in the first place? You know, it just seems like such a weird concept mix.
I'm not entirely sure of the scene nowadays because I don't really follow bullet. I'm not really a bullet hell shmup enjoyer. I just like casual shmups that I can actually finish. But there was a time where bullet hells exploded in the scene, and it took all sorts of shapes and forms, and you got your cute anime girls, you got your Gundam-esque designs, or over here in the West, they had to masquerade it as something else to trick you into playing it, because I don't think folks would buy this on a whim, at least not yet. But there was a game called Mobile Light Force 2 here in the West that looked like a Charlie's Angel knockoff. In reality, it was a bullet hell that looked like this. Well, not like this, but still. Like, it had cutesy anime characters, like stuffed toys. But you wouldn't probably buy something like that on the surface unless your friends make fun of you or some other shit like that. So that's how we were getting it over here. But for in Japan, at the very least, from what I can see, these kind of games were everywhere.
Can I just marvel at the fact that for a little while there, Touhouvania had a more authentic Castlevania feeling than actual Castlevania games?
Because is it the sprites?
It not just the sprites, but like the art style of the portraits. Like, I know, like, Toho is like at its core very weeaboo kind of like hardcore otaku anime girls stuff, but they actually goddamn went to the effort of drawing everyone in an art style that fits the Castlevania aesthetic, kind of like Order of Ecclesia or something, you know?
Yeah.
But like, if I remember correctly, this was around the time when I want to say maybe Portrait of Ruin or what's the second Soma game?
Dawn of Sorrow.
Dawn of Sorrow. Like, around the time those two games were out, I think. Close to it, anyway. And those games look like the most generic-ass anime shit you've ever seen.
On a surface level, yes. That's why a lot of people didn't like the art style of those games.
But, you know, the art style in these character portraits is very Castlevania. I will commend them for that. Not so much for the static character concept art just flying around the screen in the OP. That was a little
that was very, yeah, that was like like, I'm not entirely sure what the budget is for these games. Well, this is a remaster of an old game, so maybe they figured, but the opening can stay the same as it is. We don't want to warp their perceptions too much.
Yeah. Anyway, I guess my main point is this is very obviously a Castlevania sort of what do you call a parody when it's not actually a parody?
Castlevania.
No, I mean, like, the word parody is often used to, like, describe...
Love letter?
I suppose love letter is a thing, yeah, but, like... Parody is the word that we use in a technical sense to describe something that is like a humorous sort of homage kind of thing. Except, you know, the actual word parody, that is a lazy ass looking emote thing hovering over her head there. Like, holy shit, you got these beautiful, beautiful looking character portraits, and then it's like someone took a multicolored Sharpie marker set and just drew the little anime emotes over their heads. That is terrible. That is awful.
That was a thing in the original game too, I recall correctly. But the emoticons were a little more, I guess, of its time, because they look like generic JPEGs of those emotes, like plastered on top. I remember I think we complained about it too there, where like the game's portraits are fantastic, but then it kind of ruins the illusion when you just have these fucking GeoCities-esque like icons above their head. It's like, listen, I know it's easier said than done. It's like, I just make more drawings. I understand. But at the same time, you have to understand it would look way better if there were like multiple portraits conveying different emotions.
You just mentioning the name GeoCities gave me flashbacks to a time full of like really cheap looking internet graphics and MIDI files of Sonic.
How did you find my website?
Memes. What?
How did you find my website? Who told you
Does it have
this?
dancing Jesus on it?
No, it had dancing skeletons.
Probably did. Every website did. Ah, geez. But, like, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. Parody. Parody is the word that everyone uses to describe, you know, this kind of transformative homage thing where you're aping the thing that you're referencing. But, like, I'm pretty sure that word is only used as often as it is for legal reasons, because I guess fair use law is so vague that describing something using the word parody is one of the only surefire ways to cement your claim on the whole fair use angle. But, like, the word parody in common conversation has a humorous connotation, and this ain't no humorous parody. This is just anime girls cosplaying Castlevania. Yeah. Yeah, so, like, is there a word for that other than parody?
Homage?
Homage.
Well, homage has a different connotation, you know.
Oh, God damn it.
That's like specifically saying that you're like honoring something. It's just as specific as parody when people say it in conversation. It's just like, instead of
well, in
humor,
that case,
like,
instead of finding a word for it, wouldn't it just be better in this case to just combine parody and homage? That's what this is.
I would like a word for it. Well, those two words don't mix, so I don't even know what you would get.
Because you can have you can parody something while still paying respects to it. More often than not, that's why you're parodying it in the first place.
Yeah, but you know, I just want to know if there's one word I can use to describe this shit when I'm talking about it.
Like 2 words is too much.
Well, I mean, you know, if I were to talk to someone on the street and describe for them what this game is, I would rather not go through the lengthy conversation of saying, well, it's a parody of Castlevania, but not the Mad Magazine kind of parody, more just the legal definition of the word parody, you know?
Look it up. I don't want to. Well, you're lost.
So, like, is there like a genre name for this kind of shit or what? I don't know.
I'm going to look up this game's like wiki description. Maybe they have the word you're looking for.
Well, they might just say it's a Touhou game based on this, because Touhou seems to do that shit a lot. The soundtrack in this game is actually really good. I remember I had it on my MP3 player for a while back in the day.
Yeah, the soundtrack's very good in this game.
It's another one of those things that has a very authentic Castlevania feel. Like they got the general like type of music that 2D Castlevania specializes in down to a T. And also a few bland name versions of the famous tracks like Not Bloody Tears and Not Vampire Killer.
So the wiki doesn't give me a description, but it should be said that Touhouvania is just what we call it. Well, that's what's referred to by fans. The actual name of the game is Koumajou Densetsu Scarlet Symphony.
Yeah.
And is it sold as that, or is it called Touhouvania?
It's Koumajou Densetsu
Okay.
Scarlet Symphony.
What's it going to be called in the BrainScratch part?
That's up to Lewis.
I mean, I'll call it by its name, and I'll put Touhouvania in like brackets or something, so that people know what it is. But,
that
this is-
anime.
this is like, that gives me some serious like,
Parody vibes.
no, like the title is like half Japanese, half English, because in Japanese they used an English subtitle, but like that is such a mouthful to say. I mean, we could just call it Scarlet Symphony, but that by itself is such a generic ass name that I'm pretty sure there are 3 other games called that. I'm a little distracted by the music, actually. It's a bit too good. I'm trying to think of
I'm
what
surprised
I'm
you can like process the music while talking over it. That's incredible.
Well, it's got a very loud melody, okay? That's like the thing about 2D Castlevania music, is it's got a very prominent, catchy melody. So, those goddamn Sharpie marker emotes are distracting me. You can tell they only had the budget or the time to draw each character one time, because there are no emotions in the portraits. There's just them standing there staring at the screen in a generic action girl pose.
Yeah,
Yep.
like the old commentary is coming back to me in like trickles, and this is the exact same shit we were talking about, because it bothered us then and it bothers us now.
It's
I mean, great, like they're beautiful illustrations, but you know what? At the very least, because what we commentated over beforehand was a fan translation, I think, right?
yeah.
It was the PC.
It was the PC version. This is an official, like, you got to spend money for this shit translation. So the translation's actually much better. Because I also recall us making fun of the original English language too in that one.
Yeah. But were any of the translation flubs as hilarious as Shining Force 2 somehow managing to turn Sir Astral's line about "don't worry, they'll be okay" into some kind of callous dismissal of their very survival? I think it was something like, "It's okay, he's old, he was gonna die soon anyway." that they somehow managed to turn the line
Why
into.
do I keep freaking you?
It's doubly funny because Sir Astral himself is an old man, so like,
Although, I don't know. I say better translation, but I'm looking at the boss's name, and they couldn't even finish her fucking name, dude. Like, what the fuck?
really?
Oh, Hong Mei Ling, yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's a reason why this question.
The joke is that no one knows who
No
she
one
is.
knows who she is. Okay, that's sad.
Doubly so. We live in a post Genshin Impact world. All the anime girl enthusiasts have moved on.
It's gonna be the image of fucking like one of the Toho girls, like with like a stubble holding on a silver cup for change because everyone's moved on to Genshin.
Nah. They could probably just, copy Sonic Mania Adventures animations beat for beat and have the Toho girls be Mighty and Ray.
Yeah, stuck in a little container, wondering what the hell happened over the past decade.
Oh, well. So, this is an official re-release, right? Like a remaster sort of thing?
It's on Switch.
Yeah. Did the original version of the game have this sort of 2.5D thing going on in the graphics? I forget.
Yep.
Okay.
This is a pretty much straight port of the original game.
It's got that horrible blurry filter on the pixel art that I hate.
Might be an option to like turn it off or anything like that. Also, like I can barely hear the music, but I heard that Richter theme callback. Rip off. We should sue.
This is literally the first room of Symphony of the Night.
Yeah, it's just missing very large wolves.
I appreciate how loyally they copied the animation frames of both the starting run-up and the Alucard strut. It's
Yeah, like she kind of reminds like the startup animation on her walk or run is very Alucard, but everything else afterwards elicits Julius from both Arya and Dawn of Sorrow.
That's true. Although I will say, like, her base running animation, on the occasion when Ryan lets it play for more than half a second, is still very Alucard, I would say.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Alucard just set the standard for 2D movement entirely. I think to this day.
Well, I mean, I'm talking more specifically about the way they move their arms and that.
Yeah.
And that
really weird overarching. I'm paddling a boat with no oars.
It looks like it looks like Alucard is just really dedicated to getting in his cardio even when he's at work. So
it is a great workout because that fucking suit is big and likely very heavy.
I'm not a big fan of the way the enemies just sort of poof out of existence, unfortunately. That is one thing that they did not replicate from Symphony of the Night, where everything had, like, a death animation. Well, I suppose the bats did just vanish.
Well, yeah, the smaller enemies went up in a poop of flames.
Yeah.
So that's nothing new.
Yeah, unfortunately for the rest of them, we're playing on the Sega Saturn for some reason.
Oh, no, because, like, the Saturn version of the game had that one enemy that died in a different way completely on that version for no fucking reason, as far as I can tell.
That port is so weird.
Yeah, it really is. Like, because I remember being so the enemy I'm referring to, and I always remember this because it just, again, how much it caught me off guard the first time. I think it was the fire demon in the Reverse Alchemy Laboratory. Like, in the PlayStation 1 version of the game, when you kill it, it turns into a black silhouette and fades away, which is already pretty cool in itself. In the Saturn version, for whatever fucking reason, when you kill it, it transforms into a completely different sprite and then fades away. It's like, huh? Why did it do that?
That sounds more like a bug.
No, it's completely deliberate. It's the only time in the game it happens. It just transforms into a completely different enemy that you don't see anywhere else, and then it just dies.
That's what I'm saying. It sounds like it was a bug. Like they were planning to introduce that enemy and somehow got some of the coding flags mixed up when they decided not to.
And the game was due tomorrow. So it's like, oh, fuck it. We gotta wrap it up now.
Wow, okay.
I know it's a pipe dream, but I'm hoping at some point in my life before I die, we'd get a definitive Symphony of the Night that has like all the Saturn extras.
It would be neat, yeah.
Yeah, like they're not game changers at all. Like you do not need to play the Saturn version, but I still find it a very neat footnote in Symphony of the Night's life. And I wish more people got to experience it outside of, very unreliable Saturn emulation or importing, which is already a very, very expensive option.
Well, Saturn emulation is difficult, but I'm not so sure about unreliable, at least when it comes to
when I say
2D
unreliable,
games.
it's like because it's very fickle. It depends on the game you're trying to emulate.
Well, yeah, but I would assume that the 2D games are probably easier. But
I'm not sure for Symphony of the Night because Symphony of the Night is technically a 3D game because of the engine it's made on.
oh yeah, but it used a lot of 2D graphics.
True.
So I'm thinking it would. Well, I managed to get Shining Force 3 working, so like I'm having difficulty imagining Symphony of the Night being too difficult relatively.
Symphony of the Night is one of those games that does run relatively well. And I know because I've been emulating the Saturn game for about 15 years now.
One of these days I'll buy a Sega Saturn and re-experience the magic that is Bug.
You have goals.
I have exactly 2 Saturn games that I experienced at all, let alone have nostalgia for. It's Bug and Clockwork Knight.
Well, Clockwork Knight I have some experience with, but not Bug.
Clockwork Knight is one of those games where it's like the music is stuck in my head even now. At least the boss music is. I don't know why.
I don't even remember much of the soundtrack Clockwork. Like I just remember looking at it and saying, yeah, they really like Toy Story.
It kind of is.
Yeah, because it's just like we really like Toy Story on the SNES and Genesis. We're just going to make an original game with a similar fit, but it's like, damn.
Weirdly, the 2D Powerhouse Next Gen system did a worse version of that. It's magical. It's like, no, I'm not even kidding. Like they went all like Donkey Kong Country-ish with the sprite work, but like the animation quality isn't halfway as smooth. So, like Genesis Toy Story legitimately looks better.
So I have to wonder, like, despite the Castlevania gameplay, it's still trying to pay respects to Toho in every other fashion. Does that include your smaller than it looks hitbox?
Yes, it does.
So, like, where is the hitbox on your character?
It's right in the center of your body rather than like your limbs or your head or something.
All right. Because, like, as the audience can see, it's like, hold on, how the fuck are you supposed to dodge that? And it's like, the trick is that your hitbox is actually smaller than it looks. It's only in the center of the body. So you have to learn how to skim and, like, graze projectiles to survive.
You know what Touhouvania reminds me of? It reminds me of a goddamn... Well, not Castlevania, no. It reminds me of a game that I had on PS3. This sort of 2.5D anime girl shoot-'em-up platformer kind of thing. I forget what it's called, though. Something about Mist.
I might know what you're talking about, but...
It was available pretty early on when during the PlayStation 3 generation. Hang on. PS3 Mist. No, that's just going to get me Mist with a Y.
We should probably end the bar here.
Yeah, this game title is not coming up. Oh, man.